Hey, so you know there are some shows that feel like they just get you? Like if you could just dive into a series and have it reflect every thought you've ever had about technology, existence, and the uncertainty of the future world. Pantheon might be the one you've been waiting for. It's the one I've been waiting for, even if I didn't know it. It blends parts of three of my favourite pieces of media, taken from 2001: A Space Odyssey, The Three-Body Problem, and The Matrix. The show feels like a commentary on a possible future that, to me at least, seems almost feasible with the way technology is going. I'm going to try and not spoil the show because I think it needs to be experienced, but hopefully I'm going to tell you enough to get you interested. Okay, so let's start with the vibe of Pantheon. From the very first episode, from the first moments you're hit with this unsettling line.
Most of the girls in my class completely missed the moment when the world began to end.
This isn't your typical sci-fi. The show can get deep into the technical weeds and wires, but never forgets that it's the people that are dealing with all of this emerging tech that are the focus. There's an atmosphere of constant unease. When I was watching it, I was constantly switching sides between thinking that the technology was the way forward, or it could be the way to our character's doom. Pantheon is brimming with themes: digital immortality, the death of privacy, the death of death. What does it mean to be human? Once we leave our physical body, if our consciousness remains in a digital form, does that equate to the soul in some way? The show gives us these religious, philosophical questions, but places them into this future tech setting. And it does all of this without ever being too preachy. There's a lot of emphasis on the consequences that these things have on an individual level, and then that builds up to a wider outlook as the show goes on. In our daily lives, we're often surrounded by questions about the ethics and future of AI. This show is dealing with what they call UI, uploaded intelligence. Scan the brain and create an intelligence through somebody's thoughts and personality. The imagery of how it's done has really stuck with me, and I don't think it's going to leave my mind anytime soon. It's kind of traumatizing. We're not just talking about the tech though. I've already mentioned that there are religious themes. Well, you've got this godlike power of controlling life after death with technology, which is kind of like the digital equivalent of resurrection. Some people's idea of heaven is up in the clouds, right? Well, what if that's meant to be the digital cloud? Then there's the way that the show weaves in allusions to ancient myths. Think of it as the gods of old are reincarnating as algorithms. Our understanding of life and death and meaning is all upended. Another moment that really stuck with me is when one of the characters gets deep in the second season and she's thinking about how humans, if we make a mistake, in the grand scheme of things, that's pretty minuscule. We move on, the world moves past it, right? But in a world where you continue to exist, everything you've ever done, every mistake, it's all still there. I'm a huge fan of shows like Severance and The Leftovers. I love unpredictability in writing, but also the feeling that the story is actually going somewhere. I'm looking at you, Lost. Well, this show runs for 2 seasons and the story is done. It's complete. The writing is layered, and I think you could watch this and enjoy it on a surface level, but if you're a huge sci-fi nerd like me, and you like to get into the questions the material is raising, you'll get so much more out of it. This show will leave you with questions after watching, but also answer so many of the questions you had whilst watching. It's intellectually stimulating. The tension is in the ideas, not just the plot, although the narrative will definitely keep you on the edge of your seat wanting to know what's next. At the end of the day, Pantheon is about more than just futuristic tech. It's about our relationship to the technologies that we create. What happens if we transcend our physical bodies, but at the cost of losing our humanity? And if that's not a deep dive into what the future could look like, I don't know what is. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know if you give the show a chance or what your thoughts are if you've already seen it. Give me ideas for what other shows or games you'd like me to talk about. And if you'd like this, maybe you'll like this video on Rainworld. Like and subscribe. Peace.